Well, some glad morning when this life is over, I fly away to a home on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away, oh, I'll fly away, oh, glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die, hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. When the shadows of this life have grown, I'll fly away. Like a bird from these prison bars is flown, I'll fly away. Oh, I'll fly away, oh, glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die, hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. Just a few more weary days and then I'll fly away to a land where joy will never end. I'll fly away, oh, I'll fly away, oh, glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die, hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away, oh, I'll fly away, oh, glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die, hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away, fly away, yeah, fly away, yeah, fly away, yeah. I'll fly away. Thank you very much, and thank you, Mary, for reaching out to me to do this today. It's really a true honor. It was enough that I would have been selected for one of the classes, but this is great and a lot of fun too. I was asked to speak, and I was telling some people. They said, "What are you going to play?" And I said, "I don't think I've ever given a speech where I didn't play, from high school, college, all the way through." And it happens to be the subject matter of what I have to say to you today, because how many of you here have ever heard the expression, music is the international language? How many of you would believe that? Okay, it's interesting. So I happen to believe that as well, and I'll just give you one quick story that sort of illustrates this really well. I do some work as an ambassador in residence. It's kind of a quirky title. Musical ambassador in residence at the University of Central Oklahoma. But it's kind of a quirky position as well. Traveled with Dr. Dennis Dunham, Executive Director of Global Affairs, to Washington, D.C., to the Saudi Cultural Mission. The purpose of the trip was that the Saudi government sponsors about well over 40,000 Saudi students a year to study in America. Everything paid. Tuition, room, board, spending money, stipends. It's a true full ride to come study in America. And it's a great opportunity for American universities, and it's a big market in the education world. And UCO wasn't getting any of these students because some bad paperwork years ago, they kind of got taken off the list. So we went to the Saudi Cultural Mission in D.C., and we were in this meeting with this man who was listening to us, trying to be as sympathetic as possible, but he was not going to budge. He didn't really care what we had to say. And then he looks at me and he says, and that's why, Mary, the look is so important. He looks at me and says, "You don't look like a university administrator or official. Who are you? What are you even doing here? And what do you have in the case?" Because I always have my case with me when I'm on business. And I said, "Well, it's a kamanja. Do we have any Arabic speakers here today?" So kamanja is the Arabic word for violin. He says, "Oh, you play kamanja?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, why don't you play something for us?" So I pulled my violin out. There we were. And I began to play this. About that time, people started coming out of their offices. Getting a nice crowd. And then a man came from the back offices, and he came out and he said, Who is playing?" And it was the cultural attaché of the United States from Saudi Arabia. And he looks at me and he says, "You, it cannot be you. He's your tall, blonde hair, blue eyes. This cannot be true." He says, "When I just hear you, I think it must be a professional violinist from Cairo. And then I see you standing." He says, "Come with me." So he whisked me away back to his office, and he starts asking me about, where did I learn Arabic music? And I said, "In Oklahoma." "Oklahoma? You play Arabic music in Oklahoma?" I said, "Yes." "Well, who taught you?" I said, "A friend of mine who's also Oklahoman." He says, "Whoa, this is really interesting." He said, "What university did you say you're with again?" And I said, "I'm with the University of Central Oklahoma, sir." He says, "And you say you play Arabic music there?" I said, "Yes." And he says, "Oh, so wonderful." I said, "Yeah, I've been studying the maqamat, maqam hijaz, maqam bayati, maqam al-halwan." He says, "Oh, you know everything about us." He says, "University of Central Oklahoma. Okay, we're going to send you lots of students." We rushed back out. He told his colleague, he said, "The meeting is over." He said, "The University of Central Oklahoma, we will send them lots of students." And he said, "It's done." And he said, "We want to take you to dinner." And pretty soon we were at dinner. Next thing you know, he wants to hook up with us at the NAFSA conference, and gave up invitations by 2 or 3 different ambassadors, and was calling the university, trying to find the university's fiddle player. And flew me on a secret mission to D.C. He says, "You have to come this day, and I can't tell you why. Meet me at the Hay Adams Hotel across from the White House at such and such time. The limo will be at the airport to pick you up." I said, "Okay, I'll be there." And he had brought me out. And what I love about the story so much is he kept telling me it's the most important thing. And I thought, what? I'm playing for the President of the United States. No, I'm playing for I don't know who I'm playing for. I had all these guesses and all these things in my mind, and was instructed not to share this with anybody. And I get there, and I realize that he'd flown me to D.C. to perform the music for his daughter's wedding. And it made me realize that the music had communicated something very powerful. And not only did UCO benefit from this trip, that first semester there was instantly over 30 students from Saudi Arabia studying in Edmond. And a year later it had doubled, and they put a cap at around 100, and that was blown a couple of years later. And now we're sitting at somewhere around 430 Saudi students studying at the University of Central Oklahoma in Edmond, Oklahoma. And I was at this wedding, and suddenly I thought, this is it. This is the heart of the matter. This is a relationship. And it was at that moment, and I had experienced things like this in the past with my music, whether it was trying to get an upgrade at a hotel, or trying to get a free bottle of champagne at a restaurant, or one time my wife and we went to La Baguette, and we said, what would happen if, let's try going in without our wallet or purse and just take your violin and have a nice meal and see if we can get out clean. Well, people were buying us drinks, so we didn't have to pay for that. And then next thing you know, I was playing my violin here and there. And we got dinner covered, and I think I made like 50 or 60 bucks. But the thing about it is that to get back to my earlier question about music as an international language, and what I have to say today, and what I have to say and what I have to play, is that music truly is an international language, and art truly does communicate if it is well intentioned. I believe that that music is an international language, and if it truly is, then it should be a primary source of communication for all business and personal affairs. And then I would ask all the business leaders in here, how many of you are strategically implementing music into your plans for growing your businesses? But then I would ask you, how many of you would agree that growing your business is about growing your relationships? And then to think about how music and art and all these things can affect deeply in terms of developing relationships around the world and in around our city. And I'll say lastly that not everybody here is a musician or an artist, but think on the subject of how you might implement music in a strategic way or art in a strategic way to grow your businesses. But how, whatever it is that your skill is, in whatever it is that you're doing in your businesses, how you can do it more artfully. And whatever it is that you're doing, you can do it with integrity, and you can make beautiful things. And as you do so, you're affecting in a powerful way the community in which we all live and we all grow, and it will begin to create an environment that is not only suitable for growth of all kinds, but a place where we all want to live. And Todd Lamb won't have to get up here and threaten you with your lives about staying in Oklahoma. I will close with just a little bit more music for you all. But it's truly an honor to be here and to share a few words from my heart. And I hope that it inspires you. I hope that it causes you to reflect and to think about some of these things as you go through the week and the months ahead, about music and art that is well-intentioned, and how that can be effective in your businesses. Devil went down to Georgia, he was looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind, he was way behind, he was willing to make a deal. When he come across this young man sawing on a fiddle and playing it hot, and the devil jumped on a hick stump, said, boy, let me tell you what. Bet you didn't know it, but I'm a fiddle player too. And if you care to take a dare, well, I'll make a bet with you. See, you play pretty good fiddle, son, to give the devil his doom on a bet this fiddle of gold against your soul, cause I think I'm better than you. A boy said, my name's Johnny, and it might be a sin, but I'll take your bet and you're gonna regret, cause I'm the best there's ever been. Johnny, rousing up your bone, play your fiddle hard, cause hell's broke loose in Georgia and the devil deals the cards. And if you win, you get the shiny fiddle made of gold. If you lose, the devil gets your soul. Devil opened up his case and said, I'll start this show. And fire flew from his fingertips, he rosined up his bow. He pulled that bow across strings and it made an evil hiss. Then a band of demons joined in and it sounded something like this. Finished, Johnny said, that's pretty good, old son. But just sit down in that chair out there and let me show you how it's done. He played Fire on the Mountain, run, boys, run. Comes in the house of the rising sun. The brand man picking that dough. Here's that hawk by no child, no. Because he knew that he'd been beat, and he laid that golden fiddle on the ground at Johnny's feet. Johnny said, hey, devil, just come on back if you ever want to try again. I done told you once, you son of a gun, I'm the best there's ever been. He played Fire on the Mountain, run, boys, run. I was in the house of the rising sun. And the brand man picking that dough. There's that hawk by no child, no. Thank you very much. Congratulations, class 2014. I was born